This
Welcome
conference
guys.
will now be recorded.
Welcome guys. In today's session, we're going to talk about one of the concept of Java, that is abstract class. Okay. I'm going to start with something called abstract method. Eventually, I'll teach you what is the meaning of abstract class, how it's going to work. Okay. And in tomorrow's session, we're going to understand something called interface. Later, in the Wednesday session, we're going to understand where this abstract class and interface is going to be useful, what are the implementation perspectives of this in the project, and what are the differences between abstract class and interface. Are you clear? So today's class, we're going to restrict ourselves in only understanding the meaning of abstract class and the conceptual meaning of abstract class. Okay, how exactly the abstract class are going to be useful in the project. Clear? Let's start it, please. Uh, I prefer to start by writing and teaching. Okay. Now observe. 1 second, please. Now we know there are two types of methods. What are the two types of methods? One is called abstract method. Another one is called concrete method. Okay. So let's start understanding what is the meaning of this abstract method and what is the meaning of this concrete method. We know fundamentally the method has, any method that we write, it has two parts in it. The one is called, this is called the action part of it. The another one is the reaction part of it. Okay. So this is technically called as method declaration, which we already learned it. Method declaration. The second part of it, that is whatever we write within this open brace right here. This is called method implementation. Method implementation, or some people also call it as method definition. So there are two parts of it. Okay, a method declaration plus method implementation. It usually happens that whenever I write a method which has both the method declaration, a method has both the declaration plus definition. Until you get the comfortness with the word called implementation, I'll use both the words like definition as well as implementation. But predominantly or largely in my further classes, I start using the word called implementation rather than using the word definition. So I'm just preparing you guys to, get comfortable with this word or a technical jargon. Okay, such method which has both the method declaration plus definition is called as concrete method. It's called as concrete method. Understood? Sometimes, okay, example. Just let me give you an example on this. Example, I have a method called void m1, right? This is called method declaration, and I do have the implementation. So this is an example for concrete method. So this is going to be your concrete method. The word concrete indicates complete. Concrete means complete. It's called complete method. Nothing but concrete method. Okay. Sometimes in Java, we also write a method which has only the declaration. The method which has only the declaration. Method with only declaration and no definition. A method with no definition. When I say a method with no definition, only declaration, Such method is technically called as incomplete method. What do you call? Incomplete method. Okay. Incomplete method is also called as technically incomplete method is also called as abstract method. Abstract means something which is not clear. That is the English meaning of abstract, right? So you would have used this word, right? Someone asks you, what is your future plan? I just say, see, I don't have clear plan, but I have a vague plan of what I want to become. So such kind of some plans which is not very clear, that is called abstract. So the meaning of abstract is something which is not very clear. Okay, you know what you want, but you are not very clear about it. So that is called as abstract. So abstract technically meaning incomplete. Okay, so meaning of abstract method is incomplete method. That is a method with only the declaration without any definition. Example, I write a method like this, void m1. Okay, now observe for this method, now carefully observe. For this method, I'm not going to write the body, rather I'm going to terminate this with semicolon. So it means to say this is a method with only the declaration, but observe there is no body for it. There is no body for it. Okay, this body is not going to be there. So such method is called as what? Abstract method. So this method, you have to be careful. You have to declare such method by using the keyword called abstract. Hold on. I think I'm using this. Yeah. Now you have to use a keyword called abstract. Okay, so very important, abstract method is a method which should have a declaration called a keyword called abstract, and at the end it should have semicolon. This method, that is a method without any body, without any definition, without any logic, is called as abstract method. Okay, so abstract method must be declared by using the keyword abstract, and very important, at the end we should terminate the abstract method by using the semicolon. Okay, another example I'll write here, abstract integer m2, and the method is going to take a parameter called string something is. Okay, now observe, at the end I'm going to put this semicolon, but I'm not going to write any logic into it. Okay, this is an example for abstract method. So your abstract, let's say void something. Okay, click. Okay, this is another example for abstract method. Okay, these are all abstract method. So observe, there are 2 points that you need to focus here. The first is that it should have the keyword called abstract. Second thing, it should end with a semicolon. Okay, it should end with a semicolon. So fundamentally, an abstract method can have any name. Okay, it can have any return type. It can have any number of parameter, any data type of the parameter. It can be anything. Okay, but generally, this is an abstract method. Without any body, it should end with a semicolon. It should have a keyword called abstract. So essentially, this is the meaning of an abstract method. So abstract method means an incomplete method without any definition, without any implementation, without logic or body. Abstract method can only have declaration, and abstract method must end with semicolon. This is the meaning of abstract method. All right. So obviously you get a hell lot of questions here in your mind. The first thing is that where exactly it is useful? What is the use of this abstract method? What do I do with this method without the logic? This is one primary question that you have. Second question, where should I write the logic for this method? Right? So usually, what is the use of this such type of method? Second thing, where should I write the logic for these methods? These are all the two usually questions that anyone get, that are bound to get. when we write or when I explain this concept, abstract method concept. Okay. So that's about basically an abstract method. Now we will talk more about this abstract method. Okay. Before I proceed with further things, I just quickly wanted to ask, do you have any questions here? Any questions? Okay, nobody is answering. So I think you don't have any questions now. Good. Thank you. How we get to know that what type of return type is required? No, okay. You should know when you write a method, you should know what is the return type of your method. When you write a normal method, how do you know what should be the return type of a method? Let's say when you write a concrete method, how do you know what is the return type? In the same way, you should know what is the return type whenever you write any method. Priya was mentioning here that I'm not audible. Is it so? Not into the dark side, because I just keep explaining many things, and if you feel that I'm not audible, then everything goes as a waste. Okay, fine, super. Thank you, and I'll continue. I'll continue. Okay. Now observe. Technically, it is just like this. Okay. Concrete method means a method with both declaration plus definition. Right? That is, think about it. Concrete method means complete method. Complete method means a work. Okay, method means a work. Long back I had explained that work means a behavior. Okay, this work or behavior or method includes two things. One is called the action that we perform. Another one is called the reaction of your action. All right. So a simple example, I have a computer mouse. I right click on my mouse. That is an action. When I right click on the mouse, that is an action. It is showing me all these options. That is called the reaction. Okay. I had explained this many times, but still I know I'm repeating it. Okay. So how do you write that action plus reaction? So I write an action called right click. Right click. This is called an action. When you right click with that action, what is the reaction? The reaction is written here. It show all the right. It show or display options. It shows or display all the options. So it means to say this is called the action part of it. This action is technically called as the method declaration. This is technically called as method declaration. This one, this one is called as reaction. Reaction. This reaction is technically called as method implementation or definition. Definition. Okay. So action plus reaction, this action plus reaction, this combination of this action plus reaction is called as concrete method. Okay, that is, I perform an action, and I get a reaction. That is called as a concrete method. Okay. Now imagine a situation where you have a computer or you have a switch. Okay, you have a switch in your home, right? In that switch, it is the switch. Okay. This is that you have in your house, but this switch is not connected to any light, right, or any bulb or anything. Okay, so like, this is the bulb that you have, but it is not connected to the switch. Okay, bulb is there. This is the switch. Think about it. I'm going to perform an action on this, and I'm going to switch it on. Switch it on. I'm going to switch it on. Does something happen here? Definitely nothing is going to happen here because this is not connected. So it means to say this is not sun. Okay, sun, don't think it as a sun. A beta nahi hai. Switch on. Okay, I'm going to perform an action. So a switch on is an action, right? But there is no reaction here. Observe, there is no reaction. It's pretty simple. This is not connection here. Why there is no reaction? Connected. So this is an action that you perform, but there is no reaction here, right? Such methods, that is, I perform an action like void switch on. I'm going to switch it on, but nothing is going to happen because I'm not connected. Okay, so I just end this with semicolon. Okay, I'm going to perform an action, but there's called as what? Technically abstract method. So abstract method is technically means a method with only the declaration, but there is no reaction, there is no implementation. In simple, realistically, abstract method is a method or a work where only action is there, but reaction is not there. All right. That's it. That's about the abstract method. Okay. Now go back to the Eclipse. If we go back to the Eclipse, okay. Vijay is telling my voice is breaking. Maybe internet issue. Now observe, I have created a simple Java project. I call it as incomplete project. Okay. Now I'm going to create a class here. And create a new Java class. I simply call it as switch class. Be careful. Switch is also, there is a keyword called switch in Java. You have to be careful. I've used S in uppercase, so hence it works. Otherwise, as per the identifier rules, Java keyword cannot be a class name, correct? So lowercase switch is a keyword, uppercase S, so hence it is not a keyword. Okay, this is a switch. Okay, as like I just explained, this is a switch. I'm going to switch it on, right? For example, switch on. Okay, this is going to be my method. Right, I terminate this method with a semicolon. So it means to say this method is abstract, right? When a method is abstract, you're getting a compilation error here. Please observe in line number 2, you're getting an error, which indicates that here I must declare the method as abstract. I must declare the method as abstract because this is a method without any body. All right. So next, whenever I write a class with an abstract method, that is an incomplete method, then the class also becomes incomplete. I'll repeat, whenever I declare an abstract method that is an incomplete method in a class, then the class also becomes abstract. Hence, you must declare the class also with the keyword abstract. So abstract is a keyword which can be used with method and which can also be used with a class, right? So what is abstract class then? Abstract class is an incomplete class. Okay, abstract class is an incomplete class which can have any number of concrete method plus any number of abstract method. Okay, I'll just explain this. Observe. So whenever I write any abstract class, imagine that this is your abstract class. Whenever we write any abstract class, we can have multiple abstract method and multiple concrete method in any order. Okay, so multiple concrete methods, any number of concrete methods, and any number of abstract methods. All right. So, and this can be in any order. It can be in any order. Okay, so basically an abstract class is an incomplete class. Why do we call it as incomplete? Because it has got incomplete methods, right? It has got incomplete methods. Since it has got incomplete methods, we call this class as also as incomplete. Okay, so an abstract class is an incomplete class which have any number of abstract methods as well as concrete methods, and this class must be declared by using the keyword called abstract. And as usual, we know the meaning of the class. A class means there are two meanings. One is called blueprint. Class is a blueprint, right? The second meaning, it's a custom data type. Custom or non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data type, right? So here abstract class is also same thing. One of the meaning of abstract class, it's a blueprint, of course. The second meaning, it's a data type. Remember, abstract class is also considered as data type, like a regular class. Are you clear? Now there are many things to learn about this abstract class. Now observe here. Let's go back to Eclipse. In Eclipse, I have declared a class which is an abstract class which has an abstract method. If I don't declare the keyword abstract, observe we are getting compilation error. So what is the rule? If a class has abstract method in it, then class also must be declared as abstract. I'll repeat it once again. If I write a class with abstract methods, then class also must be declared by using the keyword abstract. So is it necessary to use public? Not necessary. When you don't use public, automatically it is called a default. It means to say this class and this method can be used only within the package. You want to use them outside the package, then make it as public, make the method also as public. All right, so make the class as public and make the method also as public. So now it can be accessed outside the package. Okay, next. So what is the use of this class, abstract class? Remember guys, to understand the use of abstract class and interface, you need to know one design concept, in fact. Okay, the main use of this abstract class and interface. Tomorrow I'll introduce you to something similar concept, something which is similar to this abstract class called as interface. Okay, this abstract class and interface. Okay, here I write it. So abstract class, and there's something called interface, tomorrow's concept. Okay, these two concepts are used to achieve a concept called abstraction. This is the last object-oriented principle. All right. So we have already discussed about some object-oriented concepts. What are the object-oriented concepts we discussed? We discussed about class, we discussed about object, then we discussed about something called inheritance, right? Then there is something called polymorphism, right? The last one is called abstraction, right? These are all called object-oriented concepts. These are all called, oh, how I change the color, right? These are all called object-oriented concepts. Out of that, these four, inheritance, polymorphism. I missed one more thing. What is that one more thing that I missed? Here it should be something called encapsulation. Okay, so here these four are called object-oriented principles. Okay, these four are called object-oriented principles, whereas these two are not principles. They are not object-oriented principles. Okay, but they are object-oriented concept. So that's why if someone asks you, explain object-oriented concepts, then you should say class, object, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, where these four are principles. Out of these four principles, we learned about encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. The last one pending, what is that? Abstraction. To understand abstraction, we need to know abstract class as well as interface. That's why in today's class, we will not understand the uses of this abstract class. Rather, we are going to learn what it is, technically what it is. The concepts of abstract class, not the uses. Tomorrow I'll start teaching you interface and only technical concepts of interface. And Wednesday class, I'm going to explain this abstraction concept where these two are going to be useful. Okay. Now I hope you got a clarity, right? Now you should not ask me questions or what is the use of it, right? We are going to see the use on the Wednesday class, this Wednesday class. So abstract class has two meanings. One is called the blueprint, another one is called the custom data type. All right. Now let's go back to Eclipse. Let's start developing some programs on this. Now, can we have any variables? Yes, you can have a variable like integer price equal to, let's say, 500 rupees. You can have this, perfectly possible. Can I have constructor? Yes, that's also possible. It is just like any other class, guys. It can have constructor. Sir, can I have parameterized constructor? Yes, you can have parameterized constructor also, where you can initialize. Right, hold on. You don't want to initialize that here, then you can initialize that in the constructor. You can have constructor, right? You can have concrete methods also, right? For example, I don't know, just writing one dummy example, okay? This is a concrete method. You can have concrete method. You can have abstract method, okay? You can have constructor. You can have variable. You can have global variable. Can I have main method, sir? Yes, you can have main method also. For example, main method of, right? I'm the main method of abstract class. I'm the main method of an abstract class. This is perfectly possible. All right. So all these things are possible. Then what is the difference between abstract class and a regular class that we write? Okay, the regular class that we have written till now, it's called concrete class. All right. So what is the meaning of it? whatever the classes that we have created till these days, right? I use this color. That's called concrete class. Okay, two things now. One is called concrete class. This is the first thing. That's a regular class which we have created. Second thing that we have seen today, that's called abstract class. How do I know whether class is abstract or concrete? Pretty simple. If your class is a keyword called abstract, right? If it has a keyword called abstract in it, then it is called abstract class. If it is not having a keyword abstract, then it's called concrete class. Question, what are the differences between these two? Almost they are same. Almost they are same, except one thing, which is little important. Okay, so you cannot create, it's very important, you cannot create an object. For what we cannot create an object? We cannot create an object of abstract class. Very important. We cannot create an object of abstract class. But for example, for concrete class, yes, we can create. We can create objects, but we cannot create an object of abstract class. This is one of the primary difference between abstract class and concrete class. Are you clear? So apart from that, most of the things are same. Apart from that, most of the things are same. You can have main method, you can have concrete method, you can have static method, you can have non-static, any method, okay? The second thing, one more second difference is that in abstract class, we can declare, abstract method, abstract methods. But in concrete class, we can't declare abstract methods. Can't declare abstract methods. But here we can declare abstract methods. Okay. This is the second difference between this concrete class and regular abstract class. Okay, remember the first one, we can create an object of regular class. We have created till these days, we have created hundreds of classes and we created the objects out of that class, correct? But about the abstract class, we cannot create an object. I'll explain you why also. All right, I'll explain you why in a little while. Second difference is that whenever we write a concrete class, we cannot declare abstract method. I'm using the word declare. We cannot declare an abstract methods in that concrete class. But whereas in an abstract class, we can declare abstract methods. Okay. So these are all the two differences between an abstract class and concrete class. About the similarities, there are a lot and lot of similarities. What are the similarities? Both can have constructor, both can have concrete methods, both can have main method, both can have global variable, both automatically extends superclass called object class, right? Object is the supermost class of all the classes. So similarly for abstract class also, the superclass is object. And constructor chaining, automatically inside the constructor, first line of keyword is super. This is constructor chaining. Here the first line of keyword is something called super, right? This is very common between everything. You understood now the differences between this abstract class and a concrete class? So I'll just write one, practical example on this. Now this is an abstract class. You try to create an object of this abstract class. What is the class name? Switch SW equal to new. Okay, it's giving you an error saying that you cannot instantiate. So instance means object or object means instance, and instantiation means object creation. I'll repeat, instantiation means object creation. So hence you cannot create an object of this. That's why This is purely a compilation error. All right, this is the first difference. So here you're going to get an error. Okay, and here I'm declaring. See, observe there are two words here. Okay, one is called declaration, another one is called definition, or in another way. I'll write it in this way. Declaring a method. I say declaring a method. I'm declaring a method means I'm writing a method with only declaration. That's called declaring a method. I'm defining a method. I'm defining a method. I asked you, hey, define one method in your class. Define a method in your class. How do you do it? You define a method something like this, where you write the declaration plus definition. You write the declaration plus logic. Okay, this is called defining a method. If I ask you to declare a method, you should only declare without any logic. Okay, so that's why we say uh, you cannot use the word define an abstract method. You cannot say define an abstract method because abstract method cannot have definition. So hence, defining an abstract method is a wrong word. It's like you're asking a boy to deliver a baby. It's not possible. Okay. Right. These are all the two differences between an abstract class and the concrete class. Right. So now it's a time where you can ask me a question. Yes, Manit. Next is we are going to talk about where are we going to write a logic for this. Manit is asking me a question. Can we inherit this class? Yes, Manit. Yeah, perfectly. Yes, you can inherit. And that is what our discussion now, right? The next immediate topic in today's session is how to use inheritance with this abstract class and where to write the logic for this abstract method. Are you clear? We will discuss it. Super. Any other questions? Bhavani Prasad. Bhavani Prasad is asking a question, sir. We declare a class as abstract. Can we declare the same class as static or final? Please observe, Bhavani. There are two things here. First of all, outer class cannot be static. Okay. You cannot declare this outer class as static. Error. Second thing, if you make this abstract class as final class, then you cannot inherit that class. If you make an abstract class as final, then that class cannot be inherited. Okay, when you cannot inherit, then you cannot write the logic for this method. So you will understand that when I explain just the next further concept of where to write the logic of this particular method. Okay, the logic of this method must be written in the subclass. I will repeat this once again. Listen to me carefully. Don't be distracted with your surrounding. Concentrate here. Okay, concentrate here. Very important. So the first and foremost, the most important thing is that whenever we write any abstract method, right, inside an abstract class, the logic of that method must be written in the subclass. So indirectly, an abstract class without the subclass is useless. Okay, whenever we write any abstract class, we have to write the subclass for that abstract class, and in the subclass we must to override this particular method and we must write the logic. Are you clear? So hence, considering the scenario, if you make the class as final, you cannot inherit that class because we know final class cannot be inherited. If you cannot inherit a final class, right, then you cannot override and write the logic for that abstract method. Then such method becomes waste method. You cannot do anything with that. Okay, that's the reason. Ideally, we should not make an abstract class as final. I think I answered the question for Bhavani Prasad. Next question asked by Vijay, that why can't we create an object of the abstract class? There are two reasons, Vijay. Yes, Vijay has got two questions. For each question, I have multiple answers. Okay. First question, Vijay is asking why we cannot create an object. Second question, sir, what is the use of constructor since we cannot create an object? That's also a beautiful question. Third thing, we cannot create an object because we are not writing body or implementation. Is that right? Kind of. I'll answer, Vijay, I'll answer all these questions. Just hold on for a few minutes. Okay. I'll answer one by one. Now observe. Here, Bhavani Prasad has asked me a question. Can I make it as final? Observe, Bhavani, you're getting compilation error. It can be either abstract or final. It means to say you want to make it as final, then you have to remove the keyword called abstract. You have to remove the keyword called abstract. If you remove the keyword abstract, then I cannot create an abstract methods in it. All right. So that's why abstract class cannot be final. Abstract class cannot be final. Not only that, abstract method also cannot be final. Okay, why? You will understand now in just few minutes. Okay, in few minutes. So now stop asking me questions. I'm going to explain you where to write this logic, why we cannot create an object and all the things. Okay, now. So common question, sir, why can't I create an object of this abstract class, right? Why can't we? And you said that we cannot create an object of the abstract class. Then what is the use of this constructor? What is the use of the constructor? Two things, okay? Now, firstly, the main answer for all this question is behind this abstract method, right? I will explain you this abstract method and where to write the logic. Then I will answer your question one by one, okay? Now, let me go back to this. I'm going to create a new page here. Right now, observe. Right now, observe. Whenever I write any class, that's precisely an abstract class. Whenever I declare an abstract class here, correct? And I write an abstract method here, okay? I write an abstract method. Please observe. The main important purpose of this abstract method is the main important purpose of this abstract method is to inherit this into the subclass. Inherit into the subclass. Okay, we have to inherit into the subclass. When I inherit in the subclass, we have to override this in the subclass. I have to write the subclass here. And in the subclass, we are supposed to override compulsory. We are supposed to override that abstract method which is present here that has to be overridden. It means to say, whenever I write a method like this here, without any logic, compulsory, mandatorily, I have to override that here. Observe, I write a logic. And here I have to override it. So it's compulsory, right? So here in the method here, there is no logic, correct? No logic here. No logic is present. But here I have created a logic for the method. Observe, here is the logic. So fundamentally, the logic or a definition or implementation of an abstract method must be present in the subclass. Important. I'll repeat. It is compulsory to override an abstract method Okay, it is compulsory to override an abstract method in the subclass. So that's why the logic of an abstract method is present in the subclass. So what is the funda here? We need to have the subclass. So inheritance is compulsory. What is required here? Inheritance is required. What is second thing? Overriding is required. You definitely get all the questions or many questions. Why should I do all these things? Okay. Again, I'm telling you, keep this question with you, a kind of curious question. Keep it with you for next 1 or 2 days, so you will get the answer for this. Okay, when I explain you abstraction, that time you will get to know the meaning of it. Right now, you just try to understand how it exactly works. Don't worry about where it is useful. Okay. So when I talk about abstract method, what are the things that you should come to your mind? You should think that abstract method is a method without any logic. Abstract method must be ended with semicolon, terminated with semicolon without the body. Abstract method must be declared by using the keyword abstract. When abstract method is declared in a class, the class also becomes abstract class. Are you clear? Then abstract class must have subclass. It means to say inheritance is needed and it should have a subclass. And in the subclass, we have to override the abstract method. So the logic of an abstract method is going to be present in its subclass. This is the fundamentals. Okay, good. So whenever I write a concrete method, is it a rule that we should override that in the subclass? Is it a rule that I should override that in the subclass? Not a rule. It's optional for me. If I wish, I override. If I don't wish, I cannot override. Okay, or I don't override. If I don't wish, I don't override it. So, but abstract method is not like that. You have to override. You're able to understand. So overriding an abstract method, very important. I'll just make that point here. Where to write? Overriding a concrete method is optional, but overriding an abstract method is mandatory. Are you clear? So just gonna increase the font of it. Let's say I'm gonna make it as 20. Come back, bold. I'm gonna make it as this, right? Remember this. So overriding a concrete method is optional, but overriding an abstract method is mandatory. Okay. Now let's apply all these concepts in practical examples. Okay. So for time being, okay, fine. Just gonna write a superclass called parent. All right. So I define one method here. Okay, I'll not define a concrete method. Let me explain with only abstract method. Okay, let me declare an abstract method. Let's say method name is method1 m1. Right, I have a method. So you have to declare this method by using the keyword abstract, because this method is abstract method. Here, this class also must be declared as abstract. So like this, you can have any number of abstract methods here. Right? So now I'm going to write a class called as child class, which extends the parent class. Okay, class called child, which extends the parent class. Now observe, the compiler is giving you an error here. Why the compiler is giving you an error? What could be the reason? Just message me. Message me. What could be the reason that compiler is giving you an error? Okay, correct. Now Tennyson is mentioning access modifier wrong. Tennyson is wrong. Vijay is mentioning we have to override. Yes. Implementation is compulsory, correct. Shanti Mamima is telling it should be abstract, which should be abstract. I already made this method as abstract, made M1, M2, M3 as abstract, okay? It's not compulsory that it should be public. Someone here by name Tennyson is telling, no, it need not to be public. And I don't mention public, it is default. It is default, it is default. Now class is public. It's not a rule that class must always be public. Observe, now it is default, perfectly fine. Yes, Lokesh is telling we have to override. Yes, perfectly correct. Now observe, whenever I write a subclass which extends this super abstract class, then we have to override and write the logic. Just take the mouse pointer, right? How do you override in Eclipse? Just the error mark is there, no? Just take the mouse pointer on this error mark. Don't click. Just take the mouse pointer on that. Eclipse is giving you an option. You can add unimplemented methods. Now select it. We have overridden it. Okay. Observe now, I have overridden. What logic should I write? It's up to me, okay? It does not care about what is the logic, okay? So the moment we write this is called overriding. So inheriting is mandatorily required because without inheritance, you cannot override. That's a fundamental concept, right? And also you have to, once you override, obviously we write a logic in that. So now there is no error. There's no error here. So it's one of the important question, interview question. What is the difference between overloading and method overriding? Repeat, what is the difference between method overloading and method overriding? Remember this question, okay? You have to find the answer for this. In tomorrow's class, I can give you the answer, but you have to find the answer for it. You know what is method overloading? You also know what is method overriding. Okay, so you have to tell me the differences between this overloading and overriding. Okay, so now I hope you understood this. And here there is one student, I don't know, he had asked me a question. MJ, his name is MJ. He has asked me a question. Can we declare constructor as abstract? No, Anna, MJ, that's not possible. Only this abstract is applicable for method and eventually for a class. This abstract is not applicable for a variable, constructors and other things. Okay. Jayant is asking me a question. Jayant has asked me a question that is it mandatory that we should override all the methods from parent class to the subclass? Jayant, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'll explain you again. Just observe. Everyone, please observe here. What I'm going to do is let me write a class here. Let's say I have a super class. Okay, I'll call it as a parent class. I call it as parent class. In the parent class, I'm going to have multiple methods, M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. Like that, multiple methods are there in the parent class. Out of this, assume all the methods are abstract methods. So hence I'm terminating it here. Okay. I'm not writing any logic. I'm terminating it here. How many abstract methods are there? 5 abstract methods. Now I write a subclass. I have to inherit this. This is called child class. Child class or the subclass. Very nice. Whenever I write the child class or subclass, we have to override the method. Right? How many methods should be overridden? Essentially, 5 methods should be overridden. Now what I will do, I will override M1 method, M2 method, M3 method. Let's say I'm not going to override, right? I'm not going to override M4 and M5 methods. Are you clear? When I don't override it, try to understand, when I don't override it, these two are abstract methods which are inherited now. So these 3 other abstract methods, right? These 3 abstract methods are also inherited. Basically, 5 methods are inherited, but out of 5 methods, I made 3 methods as complete method or concrete methods by overriding it. So it is just like this. Imagine your grandfather is constructing a house. While construction of house, when the house was incomplete, your grandfather or great grandfather, okay, your great grandfather was constructing the house and the house was incomplete. In between, your great grandfather has expired. No, that incomplete house is inherited to your great father, and through your father, it has come to you now. So it means to say, now you have a house which is incomplete house because its house is incomplete. It is not complete. It is not constructed completely. Right now, what is your job now? You have to make that house complete. How do you make that house complete? Maybe let's say room is there, bedroom is there, you're going to complete the bedroom. Kitchen is there, you're going to complete the kitchen. Let's say bathroom is there, which is incomplete, and you are going to make it complete. But now you have exhausted with the money. Now you don't have money with you. Now balcony, which was incomplete, is still there. Remaining things, room, kitchen, and bathroom, you made it as complete, but balcony is still incomplete. Correct? So whoever looks into your house, for them it still looks as an incomplete. So imagine, compare that scenario or illustration with this, okay? So here you have five methods. All five are abstract, like balcony, kitchen, veranda, like car parking, room, etc., etc. All are inherited to you now. Now you have money. Through that money, you're going to make three things as complete. Now still two methods are there, which is still incomplete. Try to understand. These two are still incomplete. Are you clear now? So in the subclass, you have three concrete methods now. Three concrete methods plus two abstract methods. Two abstract methods. Okay. What do you call a class which is a combination of concrete method plus abstract method as? Obviously, this class is considered as what? Abstract. So fundamentally, the concept is this. Three methods are there in. So these three methods, abstract methods, are inherited to subclass. When it comes to the abstract subclass, I'm going to remove this. It means to say I have overridden only two methods, and still one method is still incomplete. So hence I'm going to make this class as abstract. Okay, so the fundamentally it is just sorry, it should be here. Okay, so someone is shouting here too. There are when fundamentally it is this: when an abstract methods are inherited to the subclass, you have to you have to override those methods in the subclass. If you cannot override those methods, if you don't override those methods, rather than saying you cannot, if you don't override these abstract methods in the subclass, then it is a rule that you have to make the subclass also as abstract, and you cannot create an object of this class also. Right now, you cannot create an object of superclass. Now you cannot create an object of subclass also. Right? So, Jayant question, I answered. Then it's like you have only okay, fine. Next, earlier one student has asked me a question that why can't I create an object of this abstract class? Pretty simple. Try to understand what is the meaning of a class. The meaning of a class is that there are two meanings. Okay, one is called a blueprint. Nothing but blueprint is nothing but a plan. A class is a blueprint, a plan. The another meaning is data type. Okay, let's not talk about the meaning of data type. Let's talk about the meaning of blueprint. So class is like a blueprint or a plan, right? And I have a plan which is an incomplete plan. I'll repeat, I give you a plan which is not clear, which is not complete plan. Do you execute that plan? Definitely no, you cannot execute a plan which is incomplete. If a plan is complete, then you execute that plan. It means to say, if a class is concrete, we can create an object. If a class is incomplete, then we cannot create an object. Because class is a plan, when a plan is incomplete, that is nothing but abstract, then we cannot execute, we cannot create an object. All right. Now, let me explain the another reason why a class, why can't we create an object of abstract class? Okay, now observe. I have a class with two abstract methods in it. Okay, so having this as public is up to you. So this is an abstract class with two abstract methods. Okay, so Pankaj is asking me a question. If a class does not contain any abstract method, can still be call it as abstract? Yes, 100% perfect. You can call it as abstract, Pankaj. Hold on here, this guy is shouting like anything. Okay. Now observe this. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, observe. So I have a class called abstract class. Assume for 5 minutes that you are allowed to create an object of abstract class. Okay, let's assume that it is possible to create an object of abstract class. Then how do I do it? I create like this: test t equal to new test. Assume that 5 minutes it is possible. So when I create an object like this, and I'm going to call the method t.m1, and I'm going to call the method called t.m2, right? So I'm allowed, that's why I'm calling it. Tell me what logic should be executed. Where is the logic to execute? So you cannot bind. Bind means it should have logic to bind. You cannot. Now it does not have logic, hence you cannot, you cannot bind any logic into it. So keeping this in mind, we should avoid it. That's why even abstract method cannot be static, right? Remember, abstract method cannot be static. Abstract method can't be static. And similarly, abstract method cannot be final. Abstract method cannot be final. Abstract method cannot be static. Abstract method cannot be final. The reason is pretty simple. If the method is abstract, then you cannot, even if it is abstract, sorry, if the method is static and if the method is final, you cannot override. Static method cannot be overridden. Final method also cannot be overridden. So you cannot override a static method if it is static, if it is final, correct? If it is cannot be overridden, then where are you going to write a logic? Please observe, the purpose of writing or making the method as abstract is to write the logic in the subclass. So I have to inherit and write the logic and I have to override it. So in simple, abstract method, purpose of abstract method is to override in the subclass. And you are one way you are making it as abstract so that in the subclass it can be overridden. On the other side, if you make it as static or final, you are avoiding it to be overriding. right? That's why it cannot be static or it cannot be final. In simple, if someone asks why an abstract method cannot be static, answer is pretty simple. If an abstract method is static, it cannot be overridden. That's why it cannot be static. Similarly, if an abstract method is final, then we cannot override that in the subclass. That's why it cannot be final. That's the answer. Okay. So these are all the two reasons basically. Now, the first one, that why an abstract class cannot be, why can't we create an object of abstract class? Because class is a blueprint or a master copy or a plan. When a plan is incomplete, that is abstract, then we cannot execute that plan. That is the first reason. Second reason, even for 5 minutes, even if we assume that we can create an object, then when we call that abstract method, there is no logic to be executed. That is the reason we cannot create an object of abstract class. Okay. Yes, Smita. Yes, Smita. So remaining things we are going to continue in our tomorrow's class, because I'm getting late for my another session. Okay. So I'm going to pause this here in today's class. Tomorrow class, I'll continue. I'll teach you how to call the methods. What is the use of the constructor when we are not able to create an object? What is the use of that constructor, right? And many more things. Okay. So probably tomorrow, half an hour I need to continue explaining what is the meaning of this abstract class. All right. All such things. Okay. Thanks for participation. Thank you.